Liu Wentao sits on the couch and tells Xu Jingming about a notification from Eva. The freshman assembly is the next day at Training Ground 1. He also mentions a new group chat for the freshmen and suggests Xu Jingming should join. Xu Jingming calmly agrees. Liu Wentao then asks what level of combat techniques Xu Jingming chose at the library. Xu Jingming casually replies that he picked up 4 A-rank combat techniques. This answer shocks Liu Wentao. He exclaims that learning 4 A-rank techniques would normally take a student until their sophomore or junior year. He concludes that his roommate doesn't take the usual route. Liu Wentao's curiosity grows. He realizes that to browse A-rank techniques, Xu Jingming must have A-rank permission. Xu Jingming corrects him, stating his permission level is S-rank. The revelation stuns Liu Wentao, who jumps to his feet. He shouts in disbelief, questioning why the school would have a permission level higher than A-rank. A sudden realization dawns on him, and he stammers that the online rumors about Xu Jingming being E-rank must be false, asking in shock if it means Xu Jingming has an S-rank superpower. Xu Jingming simply smiles, teasingly remarking that the know-it-all has just learned something new. The confirmation leaves Liu Wentao in awe. He exclaims that he had guessed Xu Jingming's rating was high, but he never expected it to be S-rank, especially since other provincial top scorers are only A-rank. A wide, happy grin spreads across his face. He gives a thumbs up, thinking it was the right decision to become a fan now, solidifying his status as an old fan. Later, Xu Jingming is in the second-floor training room. He holds a practice spear but finds it too light. He thinks that now that he has the combat techniques he needs, he also needs the right equipment. He reflects that his original F-rank obsidian spear is back home and would no longer be suitable for his current strength. He decides to get new gear. He asks the AI, Eva, to open the school mall and search for spear-type weapons. Eva complies, and holographic displays appear, showing spears from F-rank to D-rank. Xu Jingming notes he can customize the length and weight. He understands higher-ranked equipment is heavier and more expensive. He chooses an E-rank 210-kilogram spear, along with an E-rank combat suit and boots. He confirms the purchase. A notification shows the total cost is 237 credits, leaving him with 382.6. The purchase is confirmed for delivery the next day. He thinks with a bit of dismay how quickly his credits disappeared, shrinking by nearly half. With his new gear on the way, he grips the practice spear with a determined look. He knows he'll have to rely on this temporary weapon. With a confident smirk, he declares that tonight it will help him practice his 4 new A-rank combat techniques. The next day, the freshmen of Modu Superpower University gather for their assembly. As Xu Jingming arrives, he immediately draws the attention of the other students. Murmurs spread as they recognize him as the one who broke the school's punch power record. They also identify him as the Jiangnan province top scorer, marveling at his strength and handsome appearance. Before he can find a seat, he is confronted by a tall, imposing young man named Lei Zhou, who aggressively points and loudly issues a challenge. Onlookers immediately recognize him as the second-place scorer from Jiangnan province, who scored over 9,300. They gossip about his privileged background, noting both of his parents are powerful Tier 4 superpowered beings. They sympathetically remark that it's a shame no one remembers second place, making his unwillingness to accept his loss understandable. Despite the public challenge, Xu Jingming is unfazed. He calmly declines, stating he is not interested, a response that shocks his roommate Liu Wentao. Lei Zhou, however, smirks and tells him not to refuse so quickly. He then brings up a personal matter, recalling that Xu Jingming's aunt's family runs a business selling rare plants. Leaning in with a menacing grin, he reveals his family is his aunt's biggest customer, and she also owes them a large loan. He then delivers a thinly veiled threat, suggesting that if the payment isn't made on time, his aunt's family might find themselves in trouble. The threat instantly changes the atmosphere. Xu Jingming's expression turns cold as a fierce, dark blue aura erupts from his body. He quietly asks if Lei Zhou is threatening him. The sheer pressure of his aura physically forces a startled Lei Zhou to step back. Sweating and shaken, Lei Zhou struggles to comprehend the fierce, beast-like presence. He quickly backpedals, stammering that it wasn't a threat, just a heads up. Having made his point, Xu Jingming's aura subsides. He calmly asks for the time and place for their duel. Regaining his composure, Lei Zhou declares the fight will be in 7 days, at noon, on Broadcast Platform 3. Xu Jingming accepts, warning his new rival not to regret his decision. The confrontation creates a buzz of excitement among the watching students, who eagerly anticipate the upcoming battle. Shortly after, the assembly officially begins. An older, gray-bearded university official takes the stage. He welcomes them to the freshman assembly, clarifying it is a session to answer questions about the university's systems. However, he announces the first thing he wants to introduce is the school's combat power ranking. He explains students will use a virtual dive pod for holographic combat simulations, and their ranking will be determined by the number of levels they can pass. He encourages everyone to try their best, emphasizing the rewards are very generous. After the hour-long meeting, aboard Xu Jingming lets out a large yawn. He thinks the only interesting part was the virtual dive pod, which he should try sometime. For now, his priority for the next few days is to continue his daily training with his senior, Liu Ming, and his mentor. For 7 days, Xu Jingming dedicates himself to intense training under his senior Liu Ming and his master, Dean Yang Gentian. After the week of training, Liu Ming approaches Xu Jingming with astonishment. He notes his junior brother has already advanced to the mid-level of the first tier and asks how it happened so quickly. Xu Jingming simply smiles and says it was just luck. However, his inner thoughts reveal the truth. He had deliberately waited a few days before using his system to level up, which made the advancement cost only 380 superpower points. He muses that if he had leveled up any faster, he probably would have scared his senior silly. Changing the subject, Liu Ming remembers the duel and asks if Xu Jingming has a match scheduled for noon. Xu Jingming confirms he does. With a confident smile, Liu Ming pats his junior on the shoulder and says he will observe 3 minutes of silence for his opponent. He decides to accompany Xu Jingming to the match. The scene shifts to broadcast platform 3, a large arena where a crowd has gathered. Lei Zhou enters the ring with his friends. One notes it's a good chance to see the top scorer's strength. Another dismisses Xu Jingming's high score as a fluke and bets Lei Zhou will win. When someone mentions Xu Jingming broke the punch power record, Lei Zhou scoffs, arguing a physical record is meaningless when superpowers are what truly matter. Just then, Xu Jingming makes his entrance with Liu Ming. Dressed in a new black coat and carrying his new spear, his arrival causes a stir. As Xu Jingming walks towards the ring, Liu Ming thinks with amusement that with his junior's handsome looks, he will undoubtedly charm countless female students once he achieves success. From the ring, Lei Zhou observes his opponent's aura and notes Xu Jingming's rank has increased. However, he remains confident, thinking he has other preparations. Seeking to raise the stakes, Lei Zhou proposes they add a wager, all of their credits. Xu Jingming accepts without hesitation, stating he has 370 credits. Impressed, Lei Zhou says he will cover any shortfall in his own credits with cash. He proposes they both transfer their credits to the account of Old Master Zhou, a neutral third party. The teacher presiding over the match is a woman with blonde hair tied in a ponytail, called Zhou Yun, a powerful Tier 6, mid-level healing-type superpowered being. As he completes the credit transfer, Xu Jingming notes the presence of the high-tier healer, Teacher Zhou Yun. He understands battles between superpowered beings are dangerous and realizes the school has taken precautions to prevent deaths. He agrees to the terms. The crowd buzzes with excitement as the massive wager, worth 3.7 million in currency, is confirmed. Teacher Zhou Yun steps forward to officiate. She confirms she has received the credits and instructs them to prepare. She lays out the rules. If one person admits defeat or loses consciousness, the other is forbidden from continuing the attack. Both Xu Jingming and Lei Zhou calmly acknowledge they understand. The two opponents face each other. Xu Jingming stands ready with his spear, while Lei Zhou draws his sword. With grim determination, Lei Zhou unleashes his A-rank fire ability, Dense Pine Industry Fire. A vortex of intense orange flames erupts around him as he declares he will take back all the honor Xu Jingming made him lose. The power of his ability impresses the crowd, who marvel at the terrifying force of an A-rank fire superpower. Wreathed in flames, Lei Zhou charges forward. He leaps and brings his sword down in a powerful, raging flame slash. In response, Xu Jingming simply stands his ground and swings his spear in a basic upward arc. To everyone's astonishment, his simple block completely neutralizes the flaming sword strike. The audience is stunned. They can't believe Xu Jingming didn't use a combat technique and still blocked such a powerful move. They exclaim in shock that a normal attack just broke a big special move. Lei Zhou himself is left speechless, gritting his teeth in disbelief. With his opponent's attack nullified, Xu Jingming looks at him with cold indifference. Purple lightning begins to crackle around him as he tells Lei Zhou that nothing is impossible. The only reason it seems so is because Lei Zhou is simply too weak. Before his rival can react, Xu Jingming launches a devastating counterattack. Surrounded by a torrent of purple lightning, he lunges forward and strikes Lei Zhou squarely in the chest, sending him flying backward. The purple lightning from Xu Jingming's attack courses through Lei Zhou's body, making him cry out in agony. The force of the blow sends his sword flying amidst a spray of blood as he is thrown backward. He lands hard on the floor of the ring, slumping over in defeat as smoke rises from his body. The crowd is stunned by the swift and decisive outcome. Lei Zhou's supporters are in disbelief, with one exclaiming that the fight is over after only 2 moves from Xu Jingming. Another angrily questions the claim that Lei Zhou was stronger now that he's been instantly defeated. The onlookers agree that Xu Jingming's strength is on a completely different level from the other freshmen. Watching from the sidelines, Liu Ming looks completely unimpressed. He thinks to himself that the match was too boring and didn't even make his junior brother use 1/10 of his real power. Back in the ring, teacher Zhou Yun begins to announce the winner. However, a wounded Lei Zhou struggles to his feet, calling out to her. He grits his teeth, insisting he is not lost, and the match is not over. In a desperate move, he pulls out a small, red pill. Teacher Zhou Yun immediately recognizes it, shouting in alarm and identifying it as a rampaging blood pill. She warns him against taking it, telling him this is just a match and not worth risking his life. The audience also recognizes the dangerous item. They murmur that while the pill can boost a user's strength several times over for a short period, it has severe side effects that could leave him bedridden for months. They question if the risk is worth it. With a major university competition only a month away, Lei Zhou ignores their concerns, stating that he will bear any consequences himself. He is determined to take the gamble and will accept his loss only if he is defeated after this. In the crowd, some students, including Liu Wentao, protest, asking if using a performance-enhancing drug is allowed. Teacher Zhou Yun addresses the complaints, clarifying that since this is an unofficial battle, there are no strict rules. She explains that weapons, combat suits, and drugs are all considered permissible resources. As she speaks, Lei Zhou swallows the pill. She finishes by stating that if Xu Jingming had a similar pill, he would also be allowed to use it. As the pill takes effect, Lei Zhou's body erupts in an even more intense fire aura. His eyes begin to glow with a menacing orange light as he roars with newfound power. Teacher Zhou Yun watches with a worried expression, noting the pill is high-grade and has boosted Lei Zhou's power to the lower level of the 2nd tier. She concludes that Xu Jingming is now in serious trouble. Faced with his opponent's desperate power-up, Xu Jingming's own battle intent surges, becoming even more potent as a torrent of purple lightning erupts around him. From the sidelines, teacher Zhou Yun observes this with approval, thinking that Xu Jingming's fighting spirit is becoming even more vigorous and that he has the mindset of a great general. Gripping his spear, a confident smile plays on Xu Jingming's lips. He thinks to himself that finally the fight is no longer like an adult beating up a child. He takes a single step forward, and the lightning around his combat boots shatters the floor of the ring. He then charges at his opponent with blinding speed. Lei Zhou is shocked by his incredible velocity. The 2 fighters clash in the center of the ring, their superpowered attacks meeting with explosive force. Lei Zhou blocks Xu Jingming's initial thrust, but the raw power behind the attack is overwhelming. The force of the blow sends Lei Zhou staggering backward, forcing him to his knees to absorb the impact. Still surrounded by his wavering flames, he grits his teeth in disbelief. He can't understand how, even with his strength boosted to the 2nd tier, he is still no match for Xu Jingming. He wonders what kind of monster he is facing. Realizing a head-on fight is useless, Lei Zhou changes his strategy. He decides that if he can't win a direct clash, he will attack from a distance. He leaps back and launches a volley of powerful fireballs at Xu Jingming. However, his ranged attack is met with casual disdain. Xu Jingming effortlessly swings his spear in a wide arc, creating a vortex of lightning that deflects all the fireballs. He mockingly asks if that is all Lei Zhou has. Frustrated and sweating, Lei Zhou curses his opponent's flawless lightning ability. He desperately clings to a new hope, thinking that he can no longer get close, but if he can exhaust Xu Jingming's power before his drug boost wears off, he might still have a chance. But Xu Jingming has no intention of letting the fight drag on. He decides to end it. He raises his hand and summons a massive amount of purple energy, condensing it into a solid spear of pure, crackling lightning. His A-rank technique, Thunder Spear. He hurls the condensed energy weapon at his opponent. The spear flies through the air and slams directly into Lei Zhou's shoulder, piercing his defenses. Stumbling back in shock and pain, clutching his wound, Lei Zhou has a horrifying realization. His opponent also has a devastating long-range attack. Before Lei Zhou can recover, Xu Jingming follows up with another technique. A powerful sphere of lightning materializes above Lei Zhou, and torrents of purple energy rain down, electrocuting him. Stunned and in pain, he looks up, wondering what new battle technique this is. With a cold expression, Xu Jingming points forward and declares the name of his A-rank control skill, Thunder Prison. A cage of crackling purple lightning forms around Lei Zhou, trapping him completely. He curses, realizing he is caught in a restriction-type technique. In a desperate move, he summons his remaining power to create a flame barrier, a swirling vortex of fire around his body. Trapped but defiant, he taunts Xu Jingming, declaring that if he can't get out, then Xu Jingming can't get in, challenging him to a battle of attrition. Xu Jingming, however, is unfazed. He looks at the fiery defense with disdain, thinking the flame barrier looks weak and wondering how many of his attacks it could withstand. Instead of a battle of wills, he leaps high into the air, easily clearing the flame barrier and positioning himself directly above his trapped opponent. While airborne, he unleashes his ultimate assault. He summons his power, and dozens of massive, glowing purple spears of pure lightning materialize in the air, all aimed at the helpless Lei Zhou. The deadly rain of lightning spears begins to descend, a technique that looks like a devastating version of his chain thunder gun. Looking up at the overwhelming attack, Lei Zhou is filled with absolute terror. He knows with certainty that if he is hit by that barrage, he will die. With his life on the line, his pride shatters, and he screams out his surrender. At the very last second, just as Lei Zhou shouts his concession, the tip of the lead lightning spear stops just inches from his eye. The rain of spears dissipates as Xu Jingming lands gracefully in the ring. In a final definitive motion, he thrusts his physical spear forward, piercing Lei Zhou's chest and leaving no doubt as to who the victor is. Xu Jingming withdraws his spear from Lei Zhou's chest, leaving him kneeling and defeated on the floor. With a commanding presence, Xu Jingming stands over his opponent as teacher Zhou Yun officially declares him the winner. The crowd is left in shock and awe. They exclaim that it was a complete and utter crushing defeat. They marvel at how Xu Jingming flawlessly chained together 4 different battle techniques in just a few seconds, a feat far beyond what any normal freshman should be capable of. 2 students discuss the power of the techniques they witnessed. One guesses they must all be at least B grade. His friend is amazed, admitting the best technique he has learned is only C grade. Watching from the sidelines, Liu Ming overhears their speculation and looks stressed. He thinks to himself that they are severely underestimating his junior brother. He knows the truth. Xu Jingming had dared to choose 4 A-grade techniques and had already mastered them to a combat-ready level. He reflects on his own experience, recalling that he had only dared to choose a single A-grade technique as a freshman, and it still took him over 4 months to learn. He admits that having such a monstrously talented junior brother puts a great deal of pressure on him. Back in the ring, a humbled Lei Zhou gets to his feet. He sincerely thanks Xu Jingming for sparing his life and accepts his complete defeat. He promises the wagered credits and cash are now his and assures him he will make the payment owed to his aunt's business on time. Teacher Zhou Yun approaches Xu Jingming and confirms the transfer of his winnings. 50 credits and 3.2 million in currency have been deposited into his student account. Xu Jingming thinks that a gambling fight is a quick way to make money. With the duel over, Liu Wentao rushes down to the ring, ecstatic. He congratulates brother Ming, telling him he is now a rich man, and invites him to go out and relax in the city center that evening to celebrate. Xu Jingming begins to decline, explaining he has training scheduled with his senior. However, Liu Ming, standing nearby, encourages him to go, advising him that a proper balance of training and relaxation is the key to long-term success. Taking his senior's advice, Xu Jingming agrees to go out. As they prepare to leave, Liu Wentao excitedly points towards Liu Ming, gushing about his reputation as the vice president of the Ash Club, a user of an A-rank lightning superpower. As he and Xu Jingming walk off together, Liu Wentao comments that the famous senior is even more impressive in person. As they leave the arena, Liu Wentao tells Xu Jingming to just follow his lead, as he has arranged the entire program for the evening. A slightly suspicious Xu Jingming looks back and asks what kind of program he is talking about. Liu Wentao turns with a wide, mischievous grin and points at his friend. He reveals his grand plan, the one unmissable event of university life, a social mixer between the male and female dormitories.
Thanks for watching. I'm going to see you next video.